All right, so Defense Secretary Ash Carter is dealing with a real problem at home while in Paris. He is promising to resolve the bonus controversy that has impacted tens of thousands of the American soldiers who should be dealing with it least. Take a listen.
Anybody who volunteers to serve in the armed forces of the United States deserves our gratitude and respect, period. I'm aware of the specific issue that you're speaking of. It's got its complexities to it, and we are going to look into it and resolve it.
Yeah. 6 years after they first found out about it. That's what we're dealing with right now. That's how long they've had to fix this. Joining us now is the founder and CEO of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, Paul Rieckhoff. And we also have Sergeant First Class Robert Richmond, one of the soldiers battling to keep his bonus. Sir, thank both of you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for joining us, as always. Robert, let me start with you. When did you get your bonus?
I received my re-enlistment bonus in November of 2006.
Okay. When did they ask you for it back?
I received a letter May of 2014 demanding my bonus back.
Okay. And you obviously complained about it. Did you put out grievance? Did the not just National Guard, but did anybody else have reason to know that there were a lot of Robert Richmonds out there dealing with this?
When I first received that letter, I thought I was the only one, and I started calling my headquarters and calling the numbers provided on the letter to get to the bottom of it. And through my research, I discovered that at the time there was nearly 17,000 soldiers affected by it. And you know, at that point I became an advocate for fighting it because it was 10 years, you know, almost 10 years had gone by the time they started wanting to collect the amount due, and it didn't seem right. It didn't seem moral. And so I've advocated against it from the very beginning.
Understood. And if we're talking about $15,000 as the initial amount, but then this turned into like a straight-up IRS scenario where it was all about penalties and interest and everything else. How onerous has this become for you in your life?
Oh, it's been awful. Initially, I received they pre-taxed the bonus. It was $11,000, and then they wanted me to pay back the full $15,000 with penalties and interest. They turned me over to the Treasury Department, who tacked on 28% more, and now, 4 months after the collection started, I'm owing them $19,000, almost $20,000, for an error they claim that they made when I signed a contract in good faith and fulfilled it. It has crippled my finances. They attacked my credit. I was self-employed at the time between jobs, and I relied on my ability. I had good credit to do business deals. And they crippled my my credit right in the middle of the time that I used my cash to go into a business deal, and I was left nearly penniless with a family and a couple of kids, and I really struggled at it for a time to just get by.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that. Let's bring in PJ here for a second. You know, I'm disgusted that, like, I didn't know sooner, that we weren't able to get on this sooner. Let's put that issue on the table. Saying now, we had Takano on here. Right. He's a Democrat from California. He's a senior member on the Veterans Committee. He says we're going to deal with this. They've known for years about this. This is not new. Fair point?
Yeah, we've been hearing stories anecdotally from our members for years. You know, every time I come on with you is to talk about something outrageous coming out of Washington. This is a whole new level. I mean, this is off the charts. Everybody across America is outraged, and these folks need to have their situation fixed. The hashtag we've been using is pay them back. Go to paythemback.us, sign our petition. But we need more than just outrage from members of Congress. They've all put out press releases, both sides of the aisle, but they're not outraged enough to come back from recess to actually fix it. They're not going to come back till after the election. So we need the Secretary of Defense to fix this right away.
Now, something that Takano said to me, I want your head on this. Paul isn't just an advocate. He actually spends all this time understanding these issues. So it's not just like he's a veteran. He's become an advocate that's read in on all this. Right. Takano says, we're not sure what we need to do here because, one, it's layered. You got people like Richmond and thousands of others like him who've started paying things back. Right. How do you get them not just to not have to repay, but reimburse for what they did have to repay? Right. And how do you deal with this credit? Right. How do you deal with those, all of this ancillary and collateral damage? He says the DOD can already do this, and we're going to point out to the DOD where in the law it says that they have discretion. Now, is that true? I read it. It's a little bit
The
later.
Secretary of Defense should be able to find a way to fix it, and if he can't, the president should.
But if he wanted to fix it, wouldn't he have fixed it already?
I don't know. I mean, that's the question for him. But right now, they can do a strategic strike from a drone 10,000 miles away, but they can't fix this guy's credit. I mean, this is not putting a man on the moon. If they have to go through individually and put people in the Pentagon going one by one to reconcile this situation, that's exactly what they should do. Everybody in Washington should fix it. It's an issue of recruitment. It's an issue of morale. It's an issue of morality. I mean, this guy and his family should not be put in this situation after he served honorably. So pay them back, fix it immediately, and let's move on to other issues. But also, what are we going to do to fix the situation long? Because this is putting stress on him, on his family, and it's another reason why everybody needs to get involved. We can't just sit back and wait for Washington to fix it. These folks need to get paid back. It needs to happen immediately. Don't wait till December or after the election day. We're calling on them to fix it before Veterans Day, but they should be able to fix it before the end of the week.
And Robert, to end on you here, and we're going to keep this discussion going. It's not a one-time thing, because as Paul's laying out, we have to stay on it because they're not even in session now, and you have the election, and then after that you'll have the inauguration, and then you have the 100 days, and you're going to have to really stay on this. Hopefully they'll be looking to do something that's relatively simple and positive right out of the box and help people like you. But just to nail this point down once again for the entire audience, you said to your CO, you said to people, this is wrong. And what did they say back to you when you were saying this is just wrong, that I have to repay something? No matter who was guilty of fraud, no matter who got caught doing it the wrong way, you were doing it the right way. What was the response?
They told me that I had to go through a certain process. There's multiple processes to request an exemption to policy. At what point I had to admit that I received a payment erroneously versus in a promise, in a contractual agreement. The process has been going back and forth. I've been at this process for 2 years. They're telling me I just have to wait 1 more year, and then they'll make a decision on whether I could have this case resolved or not. In the meantime, within 30 days of my first collection letter, they ruined my credit with all 3 bureaus, and 3 months after that, the Treasury Department tacked on this interest and is coming after me for my civilian wages.
You know, to the audience out there, we don't tell you what to do, but all of you say you support men like the ones on your screen right now. And I got to tell you, you're not talking about this issue the way you're throwing bombs at Trump and Clinton and engaging in the election that way. Think about this when you think about supporting the troops. Gentlemen, thank you for your service. Thank you for being here. We'll stay on this. That's a guarantee.